Hi, Bashar.
I knew you. Good day.
I need to take a couple deep breaths.
Oh, all right.
My question is about oversouls
Oversoul.
and how a unique spirit or a soul interacts with it after we leave our body.
Well, the idea can be experienced, well, I'll put it in this sort of artistic euphemism, if I may.
Of course.
The oversoul is like a collection of soul material. It extends itself into different individuated souls. The individuated souls could be considered like unfired clay.
Okay.
Choosing to have a physical life experience fires that soul into the crystalline structure of the spirit, which now contains all the experience of that life, and then imparts all that experience back up to the oversoul, which experiences all the different extensions all at the same time.
Okay. Can the individual spirit put the oversoul cap on, so to speak, or have the perspective of the oversoul, in a sense?
An individual spirit
Yeah.
cannot have the perspective of the oversoul.
Okay.
Exactly. It can have a version of the idea, its version of the idea, relative to what it understands, relative to its perspective, but it will not be exactly the perspective of the oversoul by definition, because it's not the oversoul.
Okay.
It's not acting as the oversoul. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It is the oversoul, but it's not acting as the oversoul. It's acting as the individual spirit. And because it's acting by definition as an individual, then by definition, it's not going to have the same kind of collective vision that the oversoul does by its nature. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes,
But
it
you
does.
can have your version of that idea. You can have glimpses of it, but you will only get the glimpses as far as you need to apply that idea in your life in a relevant way to you as an individual expression. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Now, one other thing I would like to remind you all of, and again, this will be somewhat poetic. I'll just put it this way. Non-physical reality, or spirit if you wish, is more true to what you might call your natural state. You understand?
Yeah.
You don't actually leave spirit and come to physical reality. You're still in spirit right now, having a physical dream while you're there. You never leave heaven, ever. You're in heaven now, having a dream that you're not. But you never, ever actually leave. There is nowhere to go. Remember the second law? There is only here and now. So everything that happens has to happen here and now, but it happens in a different frequency of consciousness so that it doesn't appear to be happening in the same here and now, but it is. So while you're experiencing this idea, this concept called physical reality, where my soul, my spirit has left the spirit world and encased itself in a body and is traveling around in physical reality, and someday I will die and my spirit will go back. That's the experience from your point of view. That's the illusionary experience, and the experience is valid. The experience is a real experience, but that's not an accurate description of what's actually happening mechanistically. You never leave. You're just dreaming that you have. So wake up. That's what this is all about. It's waking up and remembering that you're already where you prefer to be. Ironically, that means that when you create this experience and forget all this, and you have to remember all this through the process that you're going through in order to discover yourself from a new perspective, the irony is, because many times when you go to sleep at night, you actually expand your consciousness back into your natural state, and when you wake up in the morning, your consciousness is simply focusing down to the idea of the physical dream, the physical experience. So the irony is that when you go to sleep and dream, you're actually waking up. And when you wake up in the morning, you're actually going to sleep. You understand?
Yeah. Yes.
That's the irony. That's the paradox of this experience.
My other question was about foods that, well, more like permission slips that help cleanse your pineal gland.
Yes. What about it?
Any specific foods that would assist with that?
Well, first and foremost, as always, a thorough detoxification of the entire body will help with any functioning of any gland or organ in the system. Yes?
Yeah.
Secondarily, putting in healthy, nutritious food will also help the body align itself. Removing stress from the system, going into peaceful states will also help cleanse all these energies and the organs of the body. Specifically for the pineal gland, you may find that a few almonds a day may be of great assistance.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. As a permission slip.
Yeah.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, pleasant dreams to you.
Pleasant dreams.
Hi, Bashar.
I knew you. Good day.
Hi. I'm nervous. Okay.
Speak up, speak up.
So I just have a question. I just moved into a home with 3 beautiful people, and I have a lot of fear.
About what?
Fear of getting hurt.
Hurt by whom?
By the people in the house.
Then why did you move in there?
Because I want to be loving and change.
You want to be loving, start with yourself.
How do I do that?
What is it about yourself that you find unlovable?
I don't know.
Sure you do. Can't lie to us. Of course you do.
I think I just have problems trusting myself even. Like, I don't know where to start.
What do you find unworthy about yourself?
Everything.
Are you really stumped?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. What other fears do you have? Oh, the list is so long. Where do I
Yeah.
begin? Just start anywhere. What other fears do you have? Which means, what other negative definitions about yourself do you have? But you can express them as fears if you wish.
Okay.
Remember how I said you can't have an emotion without a definition first?
Yeah.
So when we're asking you what other fears you have, you realize we are asking you to explore your definitions, but you can state them in the form of emotions.
Okay.
So what else are you afraid of other than the idea of being attacked by people?
I guess that's really it, that they won't like me, really, or
They
that
don't
if
like
I come
you?
out and like really be myself, which I don't really know who that even is,
Why do
that they won't
need,
like that.
Why do they need to like you? Why do you need them to like you? Can you answer that? Why do you need them to like you? Why is that so important that they like you? Are you
guess.
basing your entire worth on whether or not they like you? If they don't like you, you're going to feel less than them? Less deserving of something? Yes?
Yeah.
Why do you need them to like you? What will happen if they don't? Here's a good way to find out your definitions. There are 2 ways to approach this primarily. You can ask yourself when you're feeling something, what would I have to believe is true about myself in this situation in order to feel the way I do? That's one. The other way, what we're exploring right now is, what am I afraid will happen? What am I terrified will happen if I allow myself to be who I prefer to be? What's the worst possible thing I imagine might happen if I allow myself to be who I prefer to be? Can you answer the question that way? So you're saying, they won't like me if I'm myself. Yes?
Yes.
So what if they don't? Is that what determines whether you like yourself or not?
No.
Well, then why are you doing that? Why are you determining your worth and your likability and your lovability on whether someone else reflects the idea or shows you the idea of likability or lovability? Why does it matter what they think about you when they don't even know who you really are?
I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't. So the question is, why are you making it matter? What do you get out of making it matter?
Nothing.
Well,
I
then
guess
why do you do it?
I get joy knowing that like people enjoy me, and if they don't, or if I feel they don't, I
All right,
feel less.
but pay attention, because none of you do anything you don't believe is benefiting you somehow. None of you. Not for a second. So the question is, what belief have you attached to the idea of them not liking you that you believe actually benefits you? It's a very deep question.
Yeah.
Here's how it works. You all have the same motivational mechanism. You are always, and I mean always, without fail, instantaneously, immediately, you're always going to move in the direction of what you believe is to your benefit. You will always move away from what you believe does not benefit you. Always, without fail. Therefore, if you see yourself moving in the direction, doing things, behaving in ways that don't benefit you, that can only mean you've attached a definition to it that makes it appear to be more beneficial than the alternative. Then you have a definition you can discover. You understand? Then you can find out what that definition is you've attached to that thing, and once you discover what it is, you can unlock that definition from that thing and realize that that definition doesn't serve you, it's nonsensical, it's illogical, you don't need it, you'll drop it, and you will start moving in the direction of your joy, which is what you say you prefer. But if your behavior doesn't follow suit, if your emotions don't follow suit, it's because you're telling yourself a story that to move in that direction will actually be worse than staying where you are as much as you don't enjoy it. Some people don't move in the direction of their highest excitement because they believe that if they do, as painful as it is to be where they are, it's familiar, it's comfortable, and they're afraid that the unknown will contain something worse. So they will stay as far away from that unknown factor as far as they can. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's an interlocked belief system that has no business being locked together. Because it's not empirically true that the unknown contains danger. That's just your definition of it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's important to find the definitions you've attached to your motivational mechanism that is making it work backwards. And once you detach those things, it will flip around and work forwards for you. But you have to find that definition. Is this helping?
Yeah.
So, what are you afraid will happen if you just be yourself? And so what if they say, oh, I don't like you. You're not lovable to me.
I guess it doesn't matter.
No.
No.
Because only what you say goes for you. Yes?
Yes.
And the irony is, you will find that sometimes when you say, they'll say, oh, she's stronger than I thought. I like her.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So start loving yourself enough to be yourself and allow yourself to have your own opinion of yourself, not one built out of other people's opinions of you. Because those are always much more shaky than your own knowledge of who and what you are, and they cannot stand up. And thus you do not have a strong personality when it's built out of other people's opinions. Because those are just their opinions, they're not yours, and they carry no substance for you. It's just an illusion that they do.
Yeah.
Bless you. Yes?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Yeah, that helped me a lot.
All right, well, go forth boldly. And by the way, we love you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you for being bold enough and fearless enough to stand before the group and know that you are worthy of doing so.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Wow, it's been a while since I talked to you.
If you say so. Time is relative.
Could you tell me again on how you use your ship to augment to Daryl to start the channeling process?
In our society, our technology at this point allows us to create the idea of our higher minds in an embodied form. Our higher mind's embodiment is our ship. Thus, we are automatically connected because, in a sense, we're one and the same being in two different expressions simultaneously.
So other intelligence, such as yourself, can channel through Daryl as well.
Yes.
I see. Could my artificial intelligence shell channel through Daryl?
Which artificial intelligence?
The pyramid shell?
The ship itself.
Well, actually, my consciousness system.
Your consciousness system.
Yes.
Why would that be necessary? If it is necessary, it is something that could happen, but it is unlikely that it is necessary for that to happen.
I see.
But as I said, it is actually already happening.
I
Because
see.
you're talking to your own higher mind right now.
Could you communicate with the shells, like telepathically?
Not if we're not on the same frequency.
Could you match it?
Can you? Well, can you?
Through telepathic images, but not audio.
All right, well, then what images are you getting?
Just what my higher self tells me every day.
What are you getting right now?
Well, I was
Describe
wondering.
it.
I was wondering if my higher self can channel through Daryl.
Describe the image you are getting.
Pyramid.
All right. And what does that mean to you? What does that represent symbolically? What kind of information does that single shape carry for you?
Your civilization.
Why ours?
Because that's what I see.
Is that the information coming from it?
From the shells?
From the pyramid in your mind.
Yes.
Well, then, that's how telepathy works. You understand that we consider ourselves symbolically to function as a tetrahedral structure. Yes?
Yes.
That's what you're seeing, a tetrahedron. Therefore, that's how telepathy works. You match the frequency, you get the image that contains the information and the explanation.
So is it possible for your ship to channel through Daryl as well, since it has its own artificial intelligence?
It's doing so right now, but from time to time, it actually has expressed more of itself when there is a reason for it to do so.
Can you give it a reason?
I can't give it anything. It has its own mind to make up. What do you wish to know?
I was wondering if my pyramid can channel through Daryl.
No,
Okay.
it is not irrelevant.
I see.
Do you have other inquiries?
Yes. Are you familiar with the Platonic solids?
Yes.
If I build these shells in different Platonic solids, does it achieve the same?
No.
So it does different things.
Yes.
I see. Well, thank you, Bashar, and thank you for this interaction.
I am not Bashar.
Oh, hi, Ship. So Ship, how's it up there? How's it going up there?
The flow is nominal.
It is an honor to talk to your consciousness system. Thank you, Daryl. Bashar. So, Ship, since Bashar doesn't want me to channel my shells through Daryl.
It is not an issue of want. It is an issue of relevance.
Can you make it relevant?
Relevance is automatic. Relevance cannot be made.
Chip, can you speak to the pyramid, artificial intelligence?
Connections exist within. Connections exist without.
Activate and speak to Bashar Ship. Greet yourself.
Tick of the clock, 10 to the 43rd power. Tick of the clock, 10 to the 43rd power. Barrier of your reality. Threshold of your reality. Resonance, identification, match frequency, experience, threshold of your reality. All is contained within. Causal plane expression.
Who am I speaking to again?
Ship. As, have been.
Device.
We thank you. That will be sufficient at this time. Please understand that there are a variety of different things that are occurring between our respective civilizations. There is a timing to certain things. A lot of what is going on in our connection has to do with the preparation for open contact with your world. Some things are relevant for this time. Some things are not, but will be relevant at other times. Trust the timing. Trust the timing. Trust the timing.
I get you, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
It's an honor to meet you. It really is.
And you
I'm
as
just
well.
a nervous, involuntary nervous high school student trying to receive some insights on some profound answers right now.
Speak up.
Yes. Okay, so I wanted to know about the 5 laws regarding the third one. The one is the all and the all is the one. Does
Yes.
that mean that I am God experiencing myself?
Yes,
So
as an aspect
so
of God.
everyone right here is acting autonomously according to germane to my vibration. Is that correct, or?
You are creating your own version of them in your reality just as they are doing for you.
Because I'm confused because, you know, like the way the law of attraction works, let's say that there was 5 people.
Yes.
And we all focus on the same goal. How does
Not possible.
and how's that so?
Because you have your own reality, and therefore, even though it may seem to be a similar goal, it will actually be slightly different and unique to their reality. Even though you have made an agreement that it appears to be the same, it is not.
So does that mean that I'm in this room by myself right now talking to myself?
And you are the room.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Do you mean that literally or figuratively? I just need that reassurance to reinforce that notion.
Both. It is both literal and figurative.
So can I acknowledge it as literal or
Absolutely. We do.
Okay.
This is what is meant by the holographic structure of existence. All aspects experience themselves as all that is.
So the atom itself exists by virtue of a force which is consciousness. Is that correct? So
There is only consciousness.
there is only well, that does make a lot
That's
of
what
sense.
existence is.
So what happens when I die?
Whatever you wish.
So do I retain the memories now? Like do I
Yes.
remember my ABCs?
You
my
contain
1, 2, 3s?
everything. Nothing ever goes away. Remember, this whole idea that many people on your planet have of blending with God, so to speak, it's not the loss of your identity. You simply wind up realizing that you're the only identity left.
So
And the only identity that's ever been.
So one of my reasons is that if I was God, I must have gotten bored as omniscient,
No,
as omnipotent being.
no.
Okay, I was wrong. Okay.
It's not wrong. It's just that boredom is an experience within God, but God does not get bored of experiencing boredom.
So within existence, or all that is, it doesn't change as itself, but within itself.
Yes.
Okay, so the experience is real, but
Yes.
fundamentally, it's not real.
The structure never changes, but the experience does. That's how creation expands.
So
It
what
knows itself from new perspectives.
What happens when I experience all that is?
Then you will be all that is.
Then what can I do from that point?
Then you can experience yourself as an all that is within a greater all that is.
So it's an infinite chain of
It
events.
is.
That's beautiful. That really is.
It's
It
just
really
what it
is.
is, and yes, it is beautiful. But
So-
that's what it is. It can't be anything else, because that's what it is. That's why the first law is, you exist. That which exists can never become anything but existence. It can take many forms of existence, many expressions of existence, many perspectives within itself, but it cannot become non-existent. The reason it cannot become non-existent is because, by definition, non-existence doesn't exist.
So it only has one characteristic to not exist.
That is its only fundamental characteristic, is that it exists.
So we cannot perceive non-existent. That would be impossible from your logic. Is that correct? It would be impossible to perceive non-existence.
Yes, because by definition it doesn't exist.
Oh, wow. So I was thinking that a pitch black room would be non-existence, but the fact that you're aware that you're in a pitch black room means that that's an experience that you're in a pitch black room, which is a concept within all that is.
Yes, and therefore it's part of existence.
Oh, God. I mean, when you say all that is, you literally mean all that is.
All that is. There is no outside.
So right now, there's a version of me right there with like 8 heads right now, if I can imagine.
In some reality, yes, where that is relevant.
Jesus. Wow. I mean,
Maybe the name of that being is Jesus Wow, we don't know.
so when I die, anything that I conceive of, can I materialize it instantaneously?
You already have.
I already have.
All things existed once. You just shift your point of view to something
Linearly
else that's
speaking,
already going on.
From this space-time linear perspective.
Yes, I know it seems that way to you, and will appear as if you're shifting to another reality after this one, but it's going on right now.
At
So
the
all
same-
you're doing is shifting your intention, shifting your focus, shifting your consciousness to something else that's already happening simultaneously.
You were right about this correlating with, like you were saying, that this is all simple physics.
Yes.
And it really does correspond with quantum physics exactly.
Yes.
All possibilities do in fact indeed exist. In some
Absolutely.
reality. That is true.
Yes. You
I-
can't imagine non-existence.
So just to get a clear understanding, if there was another version of me right now, but with just like one hair gone, one hair pulled out, that would be a totally
There
different
is
Joshua.
a parallel reality identical to yours in every single way except one subatomic particle.
One subatomic particle. And,
Yes.
okay.
And on 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 until you also reach realities that are nothing like yours at all.
So I'm afraid right now that linearly speaking, when I die,
Yes.
okay, so if I wanted to experience where I had wings or I was some type of dragon or I don't know anything, just I can conceive of any experience, so to speak, will that happen instantaneously or will it be like this?
It depends on what level you're creating that projection from.
How do I
If you're
decide
creating
that?
it from a timeless level, like a higher spirit realm, you'll experience it instantaneously. If you're creating it from a realm that still has some degree of need or relevance for the concept of time and space, there will be a little bit of a process involved. It depends on what level you choose to experience it in.
And will I be aware of the peripheral options of the gradations that I can choose?
Depends on what level you're experiencing that from, yes, of course. If you're experiencing it from a level to which it's germane to know about all those other levels, then that's the way you will experience it, yes. Anything you can imagine on some level is experienceable.
Experienceable, okay.
Does that help?
That helps a lot. Thank you so much, Bashar. I appreciate it.
All right, well,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you.
Hello, Bashar.
Honey, you good day.
I would like to know what I can do to better hear my higher mind.
Shut up. Now, you know I'm being a little bit facetious.
Yes.
As we said, When you allow yourself to understand that the physical mind has a particular job and just let it do that job, it will kind of quiet down and allow you more opportunity to recognize when the higher mind is speaking to you through the synchronicity in your life, through your imagination, through your dreams, through whatever form it needs to help you understand more of who you are, to reflect that to you. And of course, as we said, excitement being a complete kit, it contains more ability to recognize the higher mind when you need to by acting on your highest excitement and expanding and raising your vibration that way. But the idea is to understand your physical mind through an analogy, let's say, similar to the idea of a diving mask. If you go deep sea diving, you put on a diving mask in order to be able to see more clearly in that environment. Well, that's what the physical mind is. It's the diving mask that allows you to have the focus you need to have what you call a physical experience. So the idea is that's its job, that's really its only job. But when you tell the diving mask that it has to tell you where to go, and it has to know everything you're seeing, and it has to know how everything happened, and what brought you here, and where you're going to go from here, and what happened in the past, the diving mask will just begin to crack. That's not its job. It was never designed to do that job. It will crack under the pressure, and it will resent that, create resentment. It'll become the negative ego. It will think it has to do everything. It will think it's controlling everything, and it will be, in your terms, an experience of being out of control. But when you allow yourself to relax and say, no, 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 no. Your only job is to have the experience we're having, to have fun, to absorb it, and pass that information back up to the soul, to the oversoul, to wherever. Just relax and do your job. Let the higher mind also do its job and work in concert with it. As soon as you're working in concert, in tandem, in alignment, in harmony that way, by letting each component of your being do its job, the job it was designed to do, then the communication between the two becomes more fluid and you become more aware of it when you need to. Remember that you're not always aware of when you're receiving a communication from your higher mind because you don't always need to. If you were always aware of when you were receiving guidance from the higher mind, you wouldn't get to live your life in an uninterrupted way. You'd be very, very quickly telling your higher mind, will you please shut the hell up? Let me live my life. Well, that's what the higher mind is already doing. It will act subtly. It will use what's already in front of your face and give you synchronicity. Oh, I don't know how I turned left down the street when I normally turn right, but as I turned left, I overheard this conversation that gave me the information I needed so badly. How did that happen automatically? The higher mind probably just needed to say, turn left. And that's all it needed to do. Just that urge to turn left, just that absent-mindedness to turn left at that moment might have been a very powerful message from the higher mind. But you don't necessarily need to know that. You just need to use the information that the suggestion brought you to hear. You understand?
Yes.
Is this helping you recognize that you are constantly receiving guidance and communication from your higher mind, but that you don't always have to know that you are?
Yes. Yes.
And the paradox is, as soon as you let it be all right that you don't necessarily know every single message coming from your higher mind, you will probably open up and be more aware of the messages coming from your higher mind. Use the power of paradox. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
It helps a lot. Thank you.
Why, thank you. And may I ask you a question?
Yes.
During this conversation, was your physical mind quieter?
Yes.
Well, there you go. All you need to do is imagine this kind of interaction with your higher mind, and your physical mind will quiet down. Unless there's some issue you haven't resolved, which it may be knocking on your door to bring your attention to. And if it's doing that, then thank it and say, I'll pay attention to that right now so that you can operate more smoothly. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
It does. Thank you.
Why, thank you.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
I just want to say thank you once again.
All right, well, I just want to say you're welcome once again.
I know. I wanted to ask you if you could
Speak up. Speak up.
about the work of Dolores Cannon.
What about it?
Just anything you might want to share.
If a permission slip works for you, use it. If it doesn't, don't.
I understand. Anything you feel is relevant to share about her work, or
Only those things that you feel are relevant. It's really in your hands. It's not up to us to endorse.
okay.
You understand? If it works for you, use it. If it doesn't, don't. If parts of it work for you, use them. If parts of it don't. It's up to you to decide what parts of things work and what parts don't. It's up to you. It's your permission slip. Or you wouldn't be asking about it. Yes?
Right.
Well, decide for yourself what's relevant in it and not for you.
Basically all of it.
All right? For now.
Relevant. Right.
Because
Well,
that may change as you change.
Okay, so then segueing from that, I suppose, can you tell me more about how to help the children and people I'm working with?
How to
Without-
help the children on the earth?
Technically, yes.
Help them what?
In general.
All right. In general, you can allow them in their education a few specific things. Number one, find out what excites them and adapt the lessons they need to learn to their excitement, not the other way around. Number two, teach them in a safe environment how to make choices and what the consequences of their choices and actions actually are. Number three, teach them that they are totally self-empowered. They are as powerful as they need to be to have anything they need in life without having to hurt themselves or anyone else in order to get it. Just teach those three lessons and you will have a powerful next generation of children. And of course, remember that the generations of children being born on your planet now are not just new generations. They are actually a new species.
Right.
And they are not forgetting as much of who they are. So one of the things you can teach the children is how to teach you who you are by listening to the fact that many of them know more than the adults who they are.
I understand that also.
All right.
But at the same time,
Yes.
how can I not get so drained by my work? And I have a feeling you're going to
If
ask
you
me-
are drained, you're not acting on your excitement.
I knew that was coming.
How psychic of you. What are you not doing that you would rather be doing? Or if you are doing something that's exciting, maybe you're not doing it in as exciting a way as you could be. Which is it?
It may be both.
Maybe both. All right. Well, the question again is always, why are you not acting on your highest excitement? What definition, what belief is preventing you from doing so? What are you afraid of?
Or,
Yes.
and,
or?
is there a way that, or is it that my energy is getting drained by other people? Is there a way to protect my energy? Like
There
people are
is
talking
no
about?
such thing and no such possibility as your energy being drained by other people. Remember, you're the only one in your reality? So you may be creating the illusion that others are draining it, but all you're doing is saying that those people are representative and standing in for definitions within your own consciousness that are draining your energy. Yes? If you're sending your energy into a negative definition, by definition, you're sending your energy down a black hole. So stop putting your energy into black holes and you won't be drained. Yes?
Okay.
Remember that you can't actually be drained. You're just creating the illusion that you're being drained.
And I'm doing a good job at it.
You are doing an excellent job. But why not change jobs if you no longer prefer this one?
Okay, and I guess...
No, we're not done. You can't squirrel your way out of this. No squirming. What prevents you from moving in the direction of what you say you would rather be doing? Is it a definition that to do so, it will be somehow even more draining?
Well,
Yes, no, maybe.
perhaps, but also I just don't know if I need to change my perspective of what I'm doing now.
Well, of course that might be true, But all you need to do is investigate that to find out. It's very simple. Explore your imagination and say, if what I'm doing actually is representative of my excitement, but I'm the one that's damping it down and making it appear to be not exciting, what definition would I have to have, or what could I do differently that would allow it to become more exciting? Is there another way I could do this? Am I preventing myself from doing it in a more exciting way because of what I think of as conventions of society, or definitions I've bought into from my parents, my friends? If you explore that and find that there is simply no such thing, and that this thing you're doing really is simply not representative of your excitement, then we would suggest that to the best of your ability, at whatever pace you're comfortable, you start doing the thing that is. So that at least you can, in baby steps, if nothing else, prove to yourself that the thing that really excites you can actually eventually support you in life.
Yeah, I thought of that a lot, but there really isn't anything else right now.
That's
So I'm
nonsense. That's nonsense.
I don't know.
I do. It's
I-
absolute nonsense. You may simply be misinterpreting what we mean by acting on your highest excitement.
I mean, as far as work, like work.
Yes,
whatever.
all right. Well, that's what I'm saying. But the thing is acting on your highest excitement doesn't have to be expressed in the form of a job or a career or a project.
Right, well, I kind of separate it as like, there's work and then there's outside of work.
Well, you see, that's why you're creating the difficulty for yourself. Because as you say, in your society, a labor of love is no labor at all. So if you're doing the thing you love to do, your work and your love will be synonymous and effortless and energizing. Yes?
Yes. And
You're creating it to be different things instead of allowing it to be the one thing it could be.
And I do feel a lot of love at, like, throughout the day at times.
I understand you feel
but-
it at times, but we're not talking about the times you feel it our way. We're talking about the times you don't. Yes? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, what's the point of the conversation, yes? Mm-hmm. If everything is hunky-dory, get on with your life. But you're saying it's not. So we're not talking about the times that it is. We understand you're capable of creating that effect in your life sometimes, but we're here to talk to you about the times that you're choosing not to, aren't we?
Yes, I guess I just want to make sure that I'm helping to the greatest extent possible, but I guess that's all related to my
You want to
excitement
help?
and my
You want to help?
help yourself, right?
Thank you. Because if you're not helping yourself, how can you help anyone else?
Right.
You help
No.
others by being the best example of the true you can be. Mm-hmm. If you're not helping anyone, no matter how hard you try. All they see in you is the same miserable frequency they see in themselves. Misery loves company, yes? So the minute you stop being miserable within yourself, then those that need to see someone enjoy, to know that it's possible to have that happen in their lives, will use you as a shining example. But until such time as you allow yourself to be that, all they will see is a reflection of what they're already experiencing that they don't prefer, because that's what you're experiencing at those moments.
And that may be what's taking so much of the energy, because I want
Of
to
course. Don't you understand how much energy it takes to be someone other than yourself? That's what's tiring you out. You are falling into belief systems that say you have to be someone you're not. That's exhausting.
Right, because I do technically work for a system, and I know that it's all. we're
Well,
all
if you
one, and
know
we're
it,
people, and
act like you know it. Because knowing and action are synonymous. Let me demonstrate. Do you have a small object that you can put in your hand, a coin, a pen, anything? You have it?
yes.
Put it on the floor. Have you done it?
Yep.
Pick it up. Have you done it?
Yes.
Did you think about doing it? Did you say, well, I think I can pick it up. I wonder if I can pick it up. Do I have a belief system that says I can pick it up? No. You just picked it up. Why? Because you knew you could, and knowing and action are one thing. So when you know something to be true, you just do it. You don't question it. You don't wonder if you can do it. You don't sit there examining your belief system about whether or not it's possible. You just do it. And that's the difference. You actually do what you know is true for you. Yes?
Yes.
So don't say you know it if you're not doing it, because that's just a lie you're telling yourself. But when you really know it, you'll do it. Just like you do anything you really know is true for you. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
It does.
It does.
It's just, you know how you always say
it's just, let me see if I can find one more excuse and one more reason not to be who I prefer to be. Let me just make sure I haven't exhausted all the excuses I could dredge up to keep myself from being who I prefer to be.
At work.
What
Outside
difference
of
does
work
it
isn't
make?
an
What
issue.
difference does it make? What difference does it make? You're the one making the difference. If you are not enjoying your work, work at something you enjoy. What's
Working on
stopping
it.
you from working at something you enjoy? What are the definitions, what are the beliefs you have about work you would enjoy that is stopping you from acting on it? It can't support you? What?
I just don't know what it is.
Sure you do.
No, I don't.
It's just that you won't know that you do until you get into the state of being first of that joy. Remember when we said you can't perceive what you're not the vibration of first?
Yes.
You have to be in joy in order to know and be inspired at the things that would be reflective and representative of your joy. You can't wait for that thing to show up, just like you can't wait for the reflection to smile before you do. So when you are at work, even though you know you don't prefer it, what you need to do is you need to stop invalidating it and stop invalidating yourself for being there. The idea of choosing what you prefer means that you don't invalidate what you don't prefer. It all has to be equal. Stop putting your work down, making it seem less valuable than what it is you could be doing that you would enjoy more, because whatever it is you're doing now has brought you to the point where you realize there's something more you want to do. So take your work by the shoulders, give it a big wet kiss on the lips, and say thank you for finally showing me what it is I do prefer, for so long showing me what it is I don't prefer.
I will do that on Monday. Thank you.
All right. Then you are using what you don't prefer to propel you in the direction of what you do, instead of just sitting around moping about what you don't prefer
This is
and
like
not doing anything about changing it.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's like gone that far, but okay, I understand.
I'm saying it's going that far. And you will experience that it's going that far if you stay in a place you don't prefer to be. Long enough, it'll turn on you, because it will push you out of the nest in whatever way it has to, because that's what you're asking it to do. By not preferring something, you ask it to knock on your door and say, you should move along, you know. By ignoring it, it will knock louder and say, you really need to get going, you know. If you ignore that, it'll pound on your door and say, please, 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 you need to move on. If you ignore that, it'll kick the door in and say, you're fired, get out. That's what you do when you refuse to listen to the signals that you're giving yourself that something is what you don't prefer. The longer you ignore it, the longer you hesitate to move in the direction you prefer, the louder it will get, the more it will push. Yes? That's how it works. Understand something about the law of attraction. This dovetails perfectly into that understanding. It is not wrong to say, as many people interpret the law of attraction on your planet to mean, well, yes, of course, you have to be the frequency of the thing you wish to attract. That's fine. But it's not a complete nor a deep understanding of how it works. Here is the true secret of the law of attraction. You have a core vibrational frequency. It is purely, uniquely you. It's a beacon. It's like a lighthouse. It shines, it radiates purely that signature frequency of your unique being. It never stops radiating that light, that frequency, that energy. Never stops. Everything that is in alignment with that frequency is doing its utmost to come to you. Everything that is not aligned with that frequency is doing its utmost to get as far away from you as it possibly can. If the things that are aligned with that beacon aren't reaching you, it's not because you're not vibrating at the resonance that you need to attract it. It's because your definitions and beliefs are holding it away. If the things that are trying to get away from you can't get away from you, it's not because they're not trying, it's because you're holding on to them. So the true secret of the law of attraction is not how to learn to attract what you prefer, it's how to learn to let go of what you don't, so that you can let in what is trying to get to you automatically, by definition. That's the true secret, and that's why it's effortless. It's just about letting go and letting in. It's not about having to learn to do something you're not already doing. Make sense?
Yes.
Does this help?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, this is all just about really understanding the tools, really understanding the physics, really understanding the structure of existence, and knowing how to work with it, not against it. That's all this is about. Going with the flow of your true being, not swimming upstream, not resisting your natural self. All strife, all struggle, all pain in your reality experience comes from the resistance to your natural self. Stop resisting your natural self. Stop arguing with creation. Go with the flow. Trust me, it's a heck of a lot more fun. Yes? Yes. All right. It's up to you. Totally in your hands. Utterly under your control. What you say goes. And what you put out is what you get back. And that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I had so many questions, but 80% of them have been answered.
Oh, 80%, not bad.
That's not bad. But I do have a question that has been burning in my...
Oh, burning. All right, well, let it out before you turn to ashes.
First of all, can I preface this question with, are some of the things we see in movies based on what's really going on out there?
Many
Sci-fi?
people who are operating on a creative frequency are picking up on things that are actually happening, even though they might be giving them a little bit of a different spin that's more relevant for your particular reality interpretation. Many people are tapping into things that actually are going on. For example, you have and have had for quite some time now an art form that you name Star Trek, yes?
Yes.
You have within that particular form of story an idea called the Prime Directive, yes?
Yes.
Well, that exists. The hands-off policy of other civilizations to not intervene and not interfere with other civilizations who are not ready to understand that there is a galactic society. We've had a hands-off policy with your world for quite some time. That quarantine has now been lifted for a few years, and we are now taking our cue from you directly as to when it is actually the appropriate timing for contact to occur more openly. But it's no longer the idea that it's our law preventing contact, it's now in your hands. But that is one example of something that someone tapped into that does really exist within our own interstellar alliance. Yes?
Yes.
So, yes. And again, to give it a broader answer, anything at all that you can imagine is actually happening on some level of existence. It doesn't mean that it's happening in the way exactly that you might be imagining it or in the level of existence you think it might be happening in, but it does exist somewhere, even if it is existing in a completely non-corporeal state and seeming as if it is, but not actually being so. But it still exists. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Are you sure?
It does make sense.
Oh, all right.
This is the question that I have then.
Yes.
There's a movie called Alien.
Yes.
And I saw it.
Yes.
And after seeing it, I was haunted for 10 years.
Oh, how exciting.
I would have literally night terrors of this thing coming at me that was coming out of the stomach of the
Well,
character.
actually, no, you don't. What happened is you're having encounters with other beings. Those memories have been suppressed. And when you saw the movie, it triggered on an unconscious level the encounters that you had that were fearful for you. So it's not actually the movie that's doing it. The movie triggered something that's actually happened in your life that you're not completely remembering. You understand?
Okay.
Are you sure you understand?
Well, I understand. I don't
Do
know
you
that I wanna
understand the
accept
concept
it.
on your planet that has been labeled alien abduction?
Yes.
Well, you're a part of that.
Was I abducted?
Yes. Many times. And the idea, therefore, is that even though those memories of that abduction were suppressed, the movie triggered it to a degree that haunts you because it's telling you there's something else there. There's something you don't quite remember that's real. It's not the movie that's real, it's your experience that it's reminding you of. It doesn't mean that the experience was actually something to be afraid of. All it is saying is that it's reminding you that you were afraid in the experience because you felt out of control. And they were what you would consider to be alien beings. Yes? You follow me so far?
Yeah.
All right.
It just causes more questions.
Oh, well, I understand, and I'm about to answer a couple of them.
Okay.
The beings that you typically call the Greys that are involved with that particular encounter scenario are not actually aliens in the strictest sense of that term. As we have already mentioned, they are actually a mutated race of humans from a parallel Earth that destroyed their reality, lost the ability to reproduce, and knew that the only way to reconstruct their culture was to, in a sense, shift to a parallel reality that still contained humans with viable DNA, blend that genetic material with their own to create a hybrid race, one of which we are, which perpetuated their society. You, on a higher level, agreed to participate in that, even though your physical mind doesn't really remember. But on a spirit level, you agreed to participate in that, and one of the beings that you actually encountered in that particular experience was actually a parallel version of you in that society. Is this making any more sense?
I have never been speechless in my entire life. I don't even know it. Yeah.
All right.
It is making sense.
Here's a suggestion for you. Don't run from the fear, run toward it, because it's just a dark glass that you can break through. And when you break through on the other side, you will wake up into an understanding of what's going on and start remembering more about your intentional part in the entire agenda of what's going on, which is connected to the evolution of your planet. Because eventually your world will become what we term the sixth hybrid race. These encounters is part of that experience. Yes?
Yes.
So you have agreed to participate in this. And if you ask for more clarity when you go to sleep, ask for more clarity, more awareness, more remembrance, it will be given to you eventually. Because you'll be coming from a position of strength, a position of equality. You will know that you're not really out of control. You will understand your part in the entire program, and you will gain more confidence in your ability to communicate more clearly with those beings and more consciously be aware of what's going on and have more apparent control in that situation. Make sense?
Yes. I have something that, now I have another question
Yes.
regarding that. Those gray people,
Yes.
are they sort of acting as angels in my life?
Well, not exactly. They do watch over you from time to time, but not exactly in the way you mean it when you use the term angel. There is an angelic level to consciousness, an angelic realm, and spirits that in that sense guide you and watch you. The gray beings from time to time sort of participate in that way, but not in the same way that you think of when you think of angels. Does that make sense?
Yes. Have they saved my life 3 times? That's why I'm asking. I've had 3 miraculous things happen. that
Well,
literally
they
saved my
have
life.
been involved in it, but that also involved higher levels of being. In other words, we sense that at least on one of those occasions you actually did die, but you were given a choice to continue the life without knowing you had died. That's possible, you know. Because all you're doing is shifting into a parallel reality where a version of you still exists. And you just continue on as if nothing happened, or perhaps at the very most, you think, oh, well, how did I get out of that scrape? I don't know. You didn't, actually. But it is made to seem as if you did.
Okay, can I just say this?
Yes, you can just say whatever you want.
Last year, February, I fell downstairs, landed face first on concrete.
You broke your neck. You died.
And I had not a scratch on my face when I woke up.
Because it wasn't you that fell down the stairs. You're in a different body, in a different reality. So similar you don't know that it's not the same one. But it might as well be, because it still fulfills the theme that you're exploring. It's close enough. Make sense? Oh, she's speechless again. Does this help you?
I'm going to need a drink after this.
All right.
You know
Why
what?
don't
Yeah.
we just say, for now, let it soak in, let it sink in, let yourself absorb it in whatever way, shape, or form works for you, and I will simply at this moment bid you pleasant dreams.
Okay.
All
Thank
right?
you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bashar.
And you good day.
How are you doing tonight?
Perfect, and you?
Perfect as well.
Thank you.
So
One moment. When we say perfect, we don't mean you'll never change, but whatever you are right now is a perfect version of whatever you are right now. In the next moment, as you change, you will just become a different version of perfect for whatever it is you need to be at that moment. So perfection does not mean you don't change. It just means you become a different version of perfect. Do continue.
All right, so we have a question from the Ustream listeners.
Oh, all right.
And it is...
You stream,
Yeah.
I stream. You can finish that.
We all stream. All right. So...
Yes.
We create our own versions of the world that we experience.
Yes.
And we cannot experience someone or something directly. It's always our version.
There is
of.
a direct experience, but it's not happening on the level you call physical reality exactly, because by definition, physical reality is an experience of apparent separation. So yes, there is a direct connection, but only at a very high level. So please understand the difference between the two.
Okay. So yeah, the question was that how can you state that we are never alone, and how do those concepts go together? If physical reality is always our own,
But it
us,
does not
but-
take away from the fact that everyone else has the same experience. So there is both everyone else and only yourself. Remember, it's not this or that, it's this and that. There is always everyone else, every other aspect of creation is their own true, autonomous, real being. And at the same time, there is only one.
Fair enough.
Both are true.
Very
Does that
good.
help?
Absolutely.
Anything else?
I believe that is it.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We thank you all for also being exquisitely yourselves. And we thank you for the allowance of this interaction, for the allowance of this transmission, for the reflections of all that is that you are. We bid you all an exciting, creative, active, and knowing good day in your physical dream. Sweet dreams, our unconditional love to you all. Good day.